Welcome back, Chessies. It's season 3 premiere of Chesapeake Shores. We have a lot to talk about. We're talking land settlements, misread books, rekindled romance. So much to talk about. I'm so excited. Let's do it.
You're tuned in to AFTERBUZZ TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to AFTERBUZZ TV, Chesapeake Shores After Show. It's going to be a great season. We are here for season 3, an open book, the premiere. I'm your host, Marisa Serafini, and we have a new panel this year. I'll let these ladies introduce themselves, starting with...
Hello, my name is Julana Dizon.
Hi, I'm Carlina Will.
And we will have one more, Tay.
Yes.
She will be joining us next week. But it's going to be a great season. I'm really, really excited. So you two are new to AFTERBUZZ.
Yes.
And Chesapeake Shores as well. So first, I just want to get quick overall thoughts of like what you love about the show and why you started watching it, and what your quick thoughts of for this premiere. Julana, let's start with you.
All right, well, my favorite thing about TV shows are shows that encompass a lot of family values and a lot of family time. So that's my favorite thing, and I just love that every episode opens with like a beautiful scenery of some beautiful cottage and green grass.
Yep.
Literally, I feel like the O'Brien family reminds me of my family with like the different chaos and the love relationships. So I'm really excited. I really love the family dynamic in the show. And who doesn't love Trace and Abby's love story? That's literally the best.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And of course, we're going to talk all about it. We have Mick and Connor, Doug in the mix, and we have Sarah and Keven. They're still together. I love that. Bri and Jess. Ooh, some sister drama there. And of course, Abby and Trace. And we're going to cover it all. Plus some news and some predictions at the end. But what were your quick thoughts of this episode for the premiere?
My quick thoughts were there's a lot of foreshadowing. I'm super excited for this season because I think a lot of drama things are going to happen, and it could go both ways for a lot of situations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, speaking of your foreshadowing, I kind of see like a love triangle happening soon. But you know what? This episode, I just never really saw these siblings really get into it, like fighting as far as like Jess and Bree. So that was interesting because the sisters are so close. So that was shocking to me in this episode for sure.
And their family, so I mean, every family has their fights. So we know that as angry as you could be towards your sibling, you're still gonna make up for it in the end, despite how long it takes. But we'll get to it. Let's start real quick with Mick and Connor. So we saw the whole storyline all through season 2 with the land trust that they played out throughout the entire season 2. And we're still seeing the end of it now. We're finally getting the final settlements for the land. Mm-hmm. And it's not looking good, according to Connor, because Connor was so sure that they had it in the bag. But what were your thoughts of how it turned out? Obviously not in Connor's favor, but in Doug and Mick's favor. How do you think that all turned out?
I really appreciated the way that Mick approached Connor and tried to very nicely give him a second chance in a fatherly way, but not telling him, do this, do that, you're wrong. He was like, hey, you should do this. 3 times, I think, he gave him a chance. And, Connor was like, nope, I'm sure. And then, we saw what happened.
Right.
But I also see like where Mick is coming from in terms of, he's under contract, he's in an agreement and a partnership with Douglas. So it makes it awkward, when you're choosing between family and business to, this would be like a bad deal for him if he told Connor, what was in the agreement. But I honestly think Mick handled it well in the position he was in. That's the best you could do. Connor should have gotten the hints and reread the contract, and Douglas ended up winning in this situation. And it just proves that double check everything when you're working and listen to clues.
Everything, especially a 22-page contract.
For sure.
But we also learned that we know that Connor, he's a new lawyer. He's only been doing it for a few months, so dare say he lost his first case.
Yeah.
But he gained a lot of experience, especially going against his father, family, I mean, that's automatically conflict of interest. We saw it, and we knew that was going to create tension. But it's learning that, yeah, he does have to double check his work because his dad has been doing this for years before Connor was ever a lawyer. So I think it was really good that Mick did give him a chance, but also... And yeah, bad for Connor, but a good learning experience for him.
Very good learning experience.
Yes.
I was kind of worried at how they were arguing with each other in public. I was like, maybe you should take it to a private forum if you're gonna. What were your thoughts of them arguing in front of everybody?
I think family matters are definitely always best dealt with in private, in your home, maybe. It's just not a good look, but I mean, I get why Connor was mad, but at the same time, I feel like he shouldn't have been mad because he kind of brought that upon himself. He was so sure that he was right, you know.
But, okay, we all know Connor's personality. Was I shocked that Connor confronted his dad in public? No, because it's Connor.
Right.
But I can Connor's growing. He's, a new lawyer. He should be able to grow up a little bit to understand, like, there's a time and place for everything. So inside, I'm like hoping Connor would eventually grow up, but knowing that it's his character type to like lash out, he's kind of like the teenager in the family. So I was not surprised that he talked to Mick, but classic dad was like kind of playing it coy in public, just being like, oh yeah, it's like smiling, like, Connor, I told you, like right. Every parent, the smile evilness. It's like they smile while they're scolding you. You remember that?
Yeah. I think it was an interesting moment because I honestly didn't expect them to get so heated out in public. But I think that it didn't seem like anyone was bothered by it. I was just like, if that ever actually really happened, that would, turn a lot of heads. But I think it was interesting how when they were arguing and literally yelling at each other, Mick was actually now using Connor's words against him. It's like, oh, this is business. Business is business. It's nothing personal, right? You taught me that. I taught you that. I'm like, oh, Connor's getting his own taste of his own medicine. So it's a good experience. Well, what do you think this will do for the Connor and Mick relationship? Because we've seen in season 1 and 2, it's kind of been like hit and miss. Every once in a while, they're like very hot and warm with you and hot and cold with each other. Do you think this will cause more problems for the rest of the season?
It's hard to say. To be honest, I feel like Connor was throwing a tantrum. Like, he seemed to me like like a kid, throwing a tantrum as dad. And I feel like he's probably going to be upset for a while, maybe a couple episodes, and then maybe one of his siblings will be like, "Hey, come on, it was kind of your own fault,
Get over it."
I don't know. The fact that he's working with his uncle and knowing that his dad and his uncle's relationship is really strained, I don't know. For me, I feel like if he keeps working for his uncle, I don't really see it getting much better until, Mick mends that relationship with his brother first and then Connor. Or Connor would be the one to bring them together, but until all three of those relationships are mended, I feel like this is going to be a problem all season.
Right, and we didn't even get Mick's brother Thomas this episode, so maybe Thomas needs to come back and maybe mend this relationship between the two. But right now it's heated. Connor's not happy. He wants to move out, so there's already setting up tension for the rest of the season. Should be interesting to watch. But in the midst of all this, we have Doug. It is Doug's land and his investment, really. It's Mick's land, but it's Doug's investment. And we see him working with Abby, also bringing in family on this land trust. But there's a moment. Now, I have to ask you, too, because you haven't been here in the last season when Doug was first introduced. Do you think he has feelings for Abby?
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. I agree. I mean, there were like 2 or 3 moments in this particular episode, and it's only the premiere, where he was eyeing Abby like, oh, girl, I'm so into you.
That moment is
so into you. All right. So this could go into early predictions, but do you think that's going to cause a lot of love tension with Trace? Would we have a potential love triangle?
I personally don't see it happening.
Okay.
But I will say that I feel like that moment when he threw a coin in the wish fountain, I feel like he wished for her.
I completely agree.
What I mean?
That's great.
Yeah. I completely agree, because he was actually telling his son, like, when you really want something, you wish for it, throw it in and then they cut literally a shot with Abby in it, and I was like, that was not by coincidence.
I almost thought that he was gonna like turn and look at her but he didn't.
Yeah, I'm glad you caught that.
Oh my gosh, I think it will happen, because just from, you know, this whole Abby and Trace, the long distance with him being on the road, you know, Douglas is there with his kid and their kids are friends. So I don't know how long it would last. Obviously not long, but like, I think something's going to happen, and then Abby's going to be like, wait, I don't know.
But he's so into her. I mean, look at these pictures.
He's very good looking.
Speaking of which, if you guys are on iTunes, definitely check us out on YouTube. We have some fun photos that you can watch and see throughout as we're referencing this episode and all the episodes to come for this season. But we have a lot of fans. Thank you, all the returning Chessies. You guys are great. We are here. We're going to be live every Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And you know what else you can do on YouTube? You can subscribe to us. Carlina, I believe you have a little bit more about that.
I do, actually. Hey, AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that tailors made for you and help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know what you did in the comments and we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Awesome. Yes, definitely subscribe. We have so many shows here. Chesapeake Shores is just one out of many. And speaking of, you know, YouTube and live chats and shout outs and stuff, Julana, is anyone speaking? I'm sure a lot of people in live chat. What are they saying?
We actually have a lot of people tuned in. And going back to Doug and Abby, Zanae Copeland says, she brought up the moment about when they're in the conference room and he says, hey, do you want to get lunch? And then she leaves and he's like, then he has to go get lunch with the dad. You know, he's like, that's obviously not what he wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But
oh, that's true.
That was a funny moment.
Yeah, and there was also that moment where it was just him and Abby and he was talking. He was like, I like the two different, like I'm trying to summarize this, the two different Abbies that he works with, like the family Abby and then like the working Abby. He was like, I'm glad I had this Abby on my side. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no guy analyzes a woman that much if he's not super into her.
So true. Like he was so reading her.
Wait, do you guys think that Abby knows he's into her?
No.
Okay.
She's so in love with Trace that she's kind of tunnel vision.
Okay.
In that sense, but I think eventually she'll find out. Just saying. All right, anything else about the Mick and Connor and Doug before we move on? No?
No.
All right, so let's now get into Sarah and Keven. I really like this relationship. I mean, I was so for it in season 2, and I'm so for it now, and I'm so glad that they're still together. This premiere, there was so many great moments between those two. What are your thoughts of them?
I think they're super cute. They are one of my favorite TV couples, I think. I just decided that. And
no, it's great. I completely agree.
They're just so cute together. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think also I really like Sarah's character. She seems very like calm and responsible, and I think that they're just a good match for each other.
I agree. Carlina, do you feel the same way?
Listen, I wasn't Team Sarah for a little bit because she was so back and forth. She was like, let's be friends, but I'm still going to kiss you at the bar. So I was like confused. I was like, Sarah, come on, do you want Keven or not? And so then by the end, I was like, okay, she wants him. So then I became part of them. But no, I will say when it first started, from the end of season 2 to the beginning of season 3, I was not a fan of Sarah because I was like, she's playing with Kevin's emotions, you know, he's already dealing with a lot. But by the end of this episode, absolutely, I'm on their team and they need to walk down the aisle.
Oh, I completely agree, too.
Right?
I was thinking because, watching this episode, I watched this episode a couple times, and every time I saw those two together, just the way that they look at each other, they're telling personal stories about each other's lives, and they're really getting to know each other. And I'm like, this is so work. Their chemistry is also through the roof, and if Abby and Trace don't get married, like, I can see this couple get married first.
For sure.
Not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even before Abby and Trace.
Yeah.
And I'd be all for it.
And they can get married at the bed and breakfast.
Absolutely. It could be the second wedding at the bed and breakfast. Yes. Yes.
That's a good one.
I agree. I really like them together. But what are your thoughts of Kevin saying that they're just having fun and they're not serious yet? You believe that?
Maybe he's just saying that, like, to protect himself, kind of like a mental thing, But I think he really likes her.
Yeah. I agree.
He does. And, he mentioned, it's kind of hard when he was already engaged, so he wants to make sure he gets it right this time. So he's probably just treading a little bit lightly, but you can obviously tell that they're both falling for each other very hardly, but they both have baggage that they're hoping doesn't bleed into their relationship.
Yeah. Well, he was already engaged, but she was already married. So
True.
they do actually work very well. Like, they both lost someone that was close to them in their lives. They both are in, like, the working field of helping each other. Like, there's so many things between these two that work that I don't see how it couldn't work. Like, they are perfect for each other. They really are. If they need to just get over their reservations, they could be great.
Here's the thing, though. Do you, somehow his military background, do you think that could hang up their relationship a little bit in the future? Because she was hurt by that before. She lost her husband.
Right. I mean, I can believe that Kevin would be afraid to getting close to someone in order to maybe lose them again. So I can understand Kevin's reservations. But also, if you enjoy each other's presence, enjoy just, like, being in each other's lives, I think they could really work. They really could. There's so many similarities between the two.
If they break up, I'm going to cry. You guys are going to see it.
I'll cry.
I'll have tissues right here.
I'll cry. But you know what? I'm all for it right now. They seem happy with each other. It doesn't seem like they've defined anything yet.
That's true.
But they're getting serious. It's been 3 months. They're getting serious. Just saying. All right, moving on to Bri and Jess. So we know from last season, season 2, that Bri was writing a book, a manuscript. It seems like it's almost done, but she made a lot of changes to it. But of course, Jess has to read it. Thoughts of this and how Jess interpreted the book, Julana?
Well, my first thought was, why does she forget it all the time? She leaves that thing everywhere.
There's like 3 times she's forgot it.
And I'm like, well, okay, now looking back, maybe that was like a character trait that was leading up to this, so that Jess will find the book and read it. How do I think Jess feels about this? I mean, she obviously doesn't feel good about it.
No.
But to read a whole thing, I mean, obviously the people reading the book aren't going to know it's about her. But yeah, like she said in the episode, like now all her secrets are going to be out there. Not directly, but indirectly.
Okay, I'm going to put this out there. You guys ready for it?
Go.
I don't think the book is about Jess. I think it's about Bree. I think Bree's writing about herself, and Jess thinks it's her, but she doesn't realize, because Jess is the baby. She has the young child syndrome. So she's just like, oh, it's all about me, and I'm sad. But she doesn't realize that Bree and Abby and her other siblings hurt as well when their mother left. So I think the book is about Bree, and which is why she was trying to explain to Jess, but Jess doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah. Jess is so, like you said, the youngest sibling, which I actually resent. I'm the youngest sibling, and I'm not like that, I'd like to think. But she does have a still somewhat immature quality about her. She still has a lot of growing up to do. And once she reads and believes something, that's like all she can think of and not really see the bigger picture. And I believe Bree did say the line that she changed so much about the book from the last time she wrote it. So it started off about her family, but then she changed a lot of it. So it might have started off as Jess, but it's not really Jess anymore. But Jess interprets it as her. Do you think this will cause a lot of, sibling... I don't want to say rivalry because they're really not, just like tension really between these two. Because these two are really close. I mean, we've seen it in the past 2 seasons now. It's always Bri and Jess.
I think it's going to cause tension for a while. I mean, obviously it is. And I feel like when she gets any kind of emotion, she is completely engulfed in that emotion. You know, she can't like be like, oh, I'm happy, but I'm kind of mad too. She's like, no, I'm all the way angry, or I'm all the way ignoring Bree at this event, you know? There's an interesting fan comment, actually. Ivan said, I wonder if Bree's book will become the Chesapeake Shores book. Which is interesting, because then it kind of like becomes a full circle in a weird way.
Yeah, and somewhat meta, but yet perfect.
Right.
Yeah, that would make sense. Okay. What do you think?
You know, let's see. Okay, so Jess is just gonna draw everything out. I think Bree is going to eventually be able to tell her what the book is about, and Jess is going to reel it back in. I think Jess's emotions are just really heightened right now because she misses David.
Oh yeah, everyone misses David.
I miss David.
I miss David.
I know, he's so perfect.
I love the line, I miss his cooking.
That's the best. So like once David comes back and because I feel like he's the level-headed one of the two in the relationship. Like he's going to bring Jess down, and she's actually going to be able to talk to Bree about what's happening. So I don't think this is a killer. Those sisters are like the three amigos, the three musketeers. Nothing's going to break them. So I was just like a little shocked. I was like, whoa, because for me, that's the biggest fight I've seen aside from that fight about David last season. But I was just like, wait, what is happening with these sisters? But I feel like this is just like a little blimp in there, not as big as the other fights that's going on in this episode.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they need a little fight so that they can come back and have a stronger sisterhood relationship.
Yeah. But also Jess needs to mature a little bit and actually have a direct conversation to her sister and not vicariously through her grandmother.
That was funny.
Can you tell Bree this? Like, I'm right here. But I'm like, and then there was also the other moment where Jess always calls someone when she has a problem. It's always an emergency. Just go, because I rewatched season 2 actually this past week, and I can't tell you how many times Jess had to call someone every time she had a problem. That's her way of like, oh my goodness, there's an emergency. So she even called Abby, and Abby was like, if you have a problem with Bree, talk to Bree. And so I think Jess just needs to have that moment of actual confrontation to her own sister. If you have a problem, resolve it with the person that you have the problem with.
Right. I feel like that's a kind of like a family theme. You know, their dad is always saying, go talk to them face to face. I feel like that kind of like comes into play a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But we know good things are happening for Bree. She has the manuscript almost done, quote unquote. And then also the Baltimore Theater is mounting her first play. So maybe we'll see that. Yeah. Maybe that'll be in an upcoming episode too. So we'll see. We'll see. Anything else about Bree and Jess before we move on to one of the biggest couples of the show?
No, I'm too excited.
I'm ready for the biggest couples of the show.
It's Abby and Trace. You all know we love Abby and Trace. Oh my goodness, it seems like it's been forever since we've seen them. I mean, in real life, it's been like 8 months. But in the show, it's been only 3 months.
3 months.
At first, I thought it was actually 6. Thank God I watched this episode twice. It was only 3 months.
Yes.
And so Trace finally comes back from touring. Abby's all excited, sets up the lights. They reenact their first date. Sexy. It was sexy. Come on.
Do you like his new look this season?
Absolutely. Do you?
I do. It's, I don't know, it's so Mr. Suave. I love it.
Oh, totally suave. I mean, if I saw my man walking through the door like that, yeah, I'd lay a big one on him too.
I think any man with like muscles and who plays a guitar and sings is, you know, pretty swoonable.
It's the beard. It's the beard, Julana.
Also with a beard, yeah. All those things are great.
But so what are your thoughts of Trace's return? First, let's talk about his interview. But that annoying interview guy, I don't even remember his name. Ben Mallon. Prying for very personal questions. How do you think Trace handled it?
I think he handled it pretty well. I feel like that's a big issue with anybody that kind of like is getting to a fame level. Like if they're smart, they'll try to keep their private life private. Because then once you get into that, it opens a whole can of worms. And then they were already hinting that like you know, the paparazzi were taking pictures of them and stuff.
Yeah, those photographers, when we saw them throughout all this time, I was like, stay away. Let them have their moment. Goodness. Your thoughts, Carlina?
Okay. Ben. Okay, I know everyone's like, Ben's the evil one, but he also gave Trace a hint. Like, do you want me to share your story before anybody else does? He kind of gave like a Mick, you know what I mean? So I know this entertainment industry, a lot of people try to keep everything private, but if a reporter's kind of hinting to you that something might get leaked, it is probably better for you to come out with it. I think he should have spoken to Abby about it first and then told his reporter story, because I think the leaked photos is going to make this relationship 10 times harder.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's unfortunate that, I mean, first of all, it's great for Trace that he's getting, you know, publicity in that sense, and that he is rising to fame. His career is taking off in a good way, but also this is the baggage that comes with. This is the life that he signed up for, and this is also the life that Abby knew that she was going to get involved with. So I'm not saying it's their fault, but they were very well aware of what they were getting into. I just didn't want it to be so soon in the season. You know, all of Trace's now fame and fortune that comes with it. Like, let them be happy.
Yeah, but at least they're not like their relationship isn't a secret, you know?
Right.
So I feel like if there's going to be pictures of them in a magazine, he's going to be like, yeah, I love her. You know, it's not like who is he kissing on the sidewalk?
An affair or something. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it'll get bad, but I feel like maybe it won't be that bad if he's just honest. He seems like an honest guy, you know?
Absolutely.
Only because the kids are involved. I feel like this is what's going to blow it out of proportion. If it was just him and Abby and she didn't have kids, they would probably handle it a little bit better. But the fact that her kids are now exploited, I think that's going to take it to a whole new level. And, you know, Abby still got her ex-husband Wes around. Wes is not going to love this. Not at all when it gets leaked.
Wes never liked Trace.
No.
Never. and I don't want to give Wes any more credit, but like he knew that this could also happen too, especially when the girls are involved. Those girls are so cute.
They are.
They got more speaking lines this episode, so good on them. But you know, they really are now a part of Trace's life, or Trace is a part of their life, and they have become a family. And that end picture, you know,
so
the last frame of the episode, I was like, you know, this is a great family. I love it.
I really like that they did that, how they made those like still moments, like those photos, because I just love photos so much.
Yeah.
That was cute.
I thought it was very, very sweet. It'll be a problem with the, you know, photographs being quote unquote leaked, but it's more so how they're going to handle that.
That was a good point though about Wes.
Right. Wes is not going to like it.
Wes is going to change the whole situation.
I can see him like just stomping back into the scene, being like, "What's happening? Like, get away from my children, Trace." Yeah, I can see it. And he's like all hot-headed. That's not going to be fun to watch. Yeah, but I like those. I like them together. Romance is going, but it's only been 3 months, and we know Trace is going to leave again. That's
he has another 3, right?
Yeah, he has another 3, because the whole deal at the end of last season was a 6-month tour, and we're only at 3 months. So it's right now the relationship's good. We'll see what it's like in 3 months. Cool. That's the big question mark. All right. Anything else about this episode? I feel like we covered it.
We did. Yeah. We did. David, please come back.
Yeah, we need David. Oh my God. Hopefully he'll come back. We know that the Simon Atwater, Bree's other man, is coming back. So that'll be fun to watch.
Yes.
Too. We'll see about that. Before we move on to news, actually, I would like everyone to keep rating, keep commenting, keep subscribing on YouTube, but also on iTunes. We need some ratings and comments there. Just, 5 stars. There's no other stars. Just leave a nice comment, rate and review us, and subscribe. We're going to be here every Monday, and we're going to have some fun special guests this season.
Yay!
Just teasing that, but yeah. And if you leave a nice review there, we'll read and shout you out there as well. Go to iTunes, AFTERBUZZ TV Chesapeake Shores After Show. All right, let's get to some news.
AFTERBUZZ TV News.
All right. right, so some fun things happened this past week on Facebook and Hallmark Channel. Jesse Metcalfe made his appearance to promote this season, and he did a Facebook Live. It was on August 2nd, and have you two watched it?
No, I haven't seen it.
No, it's great. For those who missed it, he talked about the differences of Trace in the show and in the book. Because in the book series, Trace is actually an architect. And on the show, he's actually a country musician. So they talked about the collaboration of the writers and the producers, Jesse, and we're working with them, and how they changed that aspect because they catered more to Jesse's personal skills, being, a musician. He can play guitar and he can sing, so a lot different from being an architect.
Yeah.
I like this storyline better.
I like the song better.
And I mean, like, in being a musician, you can have like more legs and more creative things to flesh around with storylines. So I like that change. I really like it. So, and then, he also talked about how he relates to Trace, where when he was a teenager, he used to he had his first love when he was a teenager, and he was really close to his girlfriend's family, much like Trace was close to Abby's family growing up. So there's a lot of good things. Go check that out. That's Jesse Metcalfe on Facebook. Hallmark Channel. Also, same place, Barbara Niven was on Facebook Live. We love Barbara. She's a big fan of us too. Yes, Barbara, and I'm sure she's watching as well. She was on Facebook Live for Hallmark Channel on August 4th, and she talked about her character, Megan. Megan was in this episode. We didn't really talk about her, but she didn't really have a lot of big storylines, if any storyline. This episode, but she's going to get a big storyline, I'm sure, this season. She talked about her character Megan and just the themes of Chesapeake Shores, forgiveness, acceptance, second chances, and starting over. And she really liked those aspects of the show, and that's what drew her to the show. And also, her daughter in real life is like super pregnant and is about to have her third grandchild. So congrats, Barbara. And we'll try to get her again this season. Just saying. But yeah, go check those out. Both Jesse Metcalfe and Barbara Niven on Facebook Live on the Hallmark Channel. Great interviews. I really enjoy them. All right, moving on to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Ooh, a lot of things to look forward to in season 3. What do you think is going to happen? Give it all your thoughts. Julana, go.
All right, well, starting off, I think that Trace, so he's home for like 22 days, or I think somewhere around there. And
I love how they were counting down, sorry, not to tell you, like to the exact minute in 11 seconds.
14 hours. I think that he is going to end up being busier than he thinks that he is going to be, because he's on vacation, but already like the first day they're like, you have to do this interview, it's really big for your career, and I feel like with things like that, especially when you're starting, there's always something. It's going to be a photo shoot, or do like a Facebook Live, or do this or do that for your fans, and it's really important to like stay relevant all the time and seem like you're doing stuff. So I feel like maybe he's going to get pulled away from Abby a little bit, and she's going to be upset because they're not going to get to spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
That's my biggest prediction.
Okay. Any other smaller predictions?
Smaller predictions. I think that Sarah and Keven are going to be fine. I see like maybe they might have like a little bit of a rift somewhere, but I think they're going to overcome it, and they're just so cute together that they need to stay together.
Yes.
The writers need to keep them together.
Agreed. Sarah needs to stay.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right, Carlina.
I want Sarah. You got Keven and Sarah covered. I believe that Connor is going to go work for his dad as a lawyer.
Okay.
I think so. Eventually, once all this is cleared and under the rug,
settles.
because he respects his his work and everything. And I think they even hinted like, why didn't you hire Connor? Does he know that you want to hire him? So I'm like, wait a minute, is he gonna hire Connor? Hire Connor. And then also David, I'm predicting David's going to come back with Jess, and they're going to be so happy, and we're probably going to dive more into his little rich family life. what's going on there.
Oh, yeah.
Mysterious rich life.
Yeah, that was interesting. And I want to see more of Bree's love life. I'm not sure what's actually going to happen there. I think they're going to date, but it's going to be really slow. That's probably going to be the slowest of the relationships in this storyline.
Yeah, agreed. And like I said, I rewatched season 2. I was like, yes, Simon was good, and he was actually, getting along well with the other siblings and stuff. But I was like, this is a slow burn.
Yeah.
That might not go anywhere. Honestly, just the way that Bree is and her personality-wise, she is kind of wishy-washy when it comes to love and romance. So, should be interesting. But we know that he's coming back. Mm-hmm. So maybe he'll be a catalyst for finally getting her book published, or maybe it'll just make her stop writing altogether. Who knows? Not saying that will happen, but who knows? Anything else? Is that it?
No, that's not it. I think Connor's gonna move back in the house because it's not gonna work. I love how we're laughing. No, I really do. I think he's gonna move back in the house with his family because he's just gonna miss his fantastic grandma because they get along so well. And Trace and Abby, okay. You guys might not agree with me, but I think, they are going to split for a little bit because this pressure from, the entertainment industry is going to take a toll on it. And she's going to go out with Douglas at least on 1 or 2 dates. At least.
Ugh.
No, you don't agree?
I could see that.
I mean, I could see it happening. I don't want to see it happen.
Yeah.
I'm literally grimacing at the thought of that happening. So,
But
I can see it happen.
Yeah, she'll ultimately get back with Trace. But I feel like I know what's going to happen. They set it up so well. They have to go at least one date. At least one.
One inadvertent date. Like he asked her out for coffee or something.
Yeah, like
and
she doesn't know
It's
it's
a lunch meeting, but then he ends up paying for it and goes into dinner and he pays for everything, and it actually ends up being an inadvertent date. I could see that happening.
You are not. You're like Douglas has. According to Marisa, Douglas, you do not have a chance.
I mean,
sneaky like that.
like I love Victor Buster. He's a great actor, but I don't want him coming in between Abby and Trace. No,
Like, you stay away.
no, we can't have that. No, not in season 3. Although I can see it happening. They totally set it up for that, and
Or their kids go on a play date and they're both there. And,
right. Well, yeah, because we know that the girls were playing with his son too. Shoot, we're gonna get a lot more Doug in this season. Darn it. Okay. And that kind of goes with my prediction. Doug is gonna confess his feelings to Abby. ... Eventually. We don't know what episode. I think there's gonna be a lot more internal family issues. It was like we saw some tension between Bri and Jess, and we saw tension between Mick and Connor. I think there's going to be a lot more interpersonal fights between each other. Just arguments. Who knows? It's not going to get pretty. It's not going to be pretty. But yeah, and I think Trace is going to leave again because we know the tour is still going. However, I think it's either 2 options. He's either going to be offered a headlining tour, which means he's going to be now even bigger because it's his own personal tour, or he's going to be so tired of this touring life, he's going to give up country music altogether and just only perform at the bridge. It's 2 extremes, nothing in between. But those are my thoughts. And we also saw that Mick has a yacht or something about a yacht. He has to go pick up a yacht at the one marina. I have it written down. Marina at the Rowton, Connecticut Marina. That was it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Something about a yacht. So I think there's going to be an episode where everyone's going to be on a yacht, or we're going to see a boat or of some sort.
I know. I think I was Instagram stalking them and I saw photos on a boat.
Yeah. So we're going to see that. I don't know how that's going to play into the storyline, but I just know there's going to be a boat somewhere.
Maybe it'll be like a family vacation day on a boat, and then everybody gets all the internal problems come out, and they're stuck on the boat.
And they're stuck on the boat.
Oh no,
that's
that
brilliant.
would be the worst. You're stuck. You can't even swim away.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Jess won't swim because she's terrified of the water. So, oh goodness, no, that's good. I like that. All right, let's end it there. All right, thanks everyone for tuning in. Of course, we're going to be here every week, Mondays, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. In the meantime, where can everyone keep following you?
You guys can follow me on Instagram at Julana.
Hi, you guys can follow me at Cooking with Carlina.
excellent. And you can follow me everywhere at Serafini TV. You can follow all of us here, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those fun social media platforms at AfterBuzz TV. Keep rating, keep commenting, keep subscribing. We have some fun guests also this season too, so keep tuning in for that. And we will see you next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.